Well, it's 8 o'clock. And this morning I'm going to start with a poem and then talk about the poem very briefly. So the poem, which you may have heard before, is The Guest House by Rumi. And he says, "This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honourably. They may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond." Excuse me. So I've entitled this morning's meditation something like welcoming our thoughts. And we've constantly got this traffic going through our mind, haven't we? And some of it's okay, some of it's very pleasant, some of it's quite unpleasant. Speaking for myself, one of the things I do is I judge people, or my mind, more accurately, judges people, and this comes from my previous life, from my childhood, from the way I've grown up, from the things I did, and in perhaps from my previous lives, who knows. So we have I bring up judgments about people. I make assumptions about them, which sometimes aren't very nice. Or I can resist something. I can mentally get into a bit of a paddy about not wanting to do things. Or I can notice that I have a thought that strongly disagrees with what somebody else says. There can be, and in all our minds, there can be meanness, there can be resistance, there can be things like upset and disappointment, hurt, lots and lots of unpleasant sensations and thoughts arise in our body and our mind. And we can't do anything about these as they are. This might surprise you. They are a product of our past. They are our habits as human beings. They come from our life as a whole and the things that have happened to us, particularly the traumatic things that have happened to us, and sometimes just who we lived with, our family, our workplace, our friends. Our mind creates a culture from its experience, and that culture can be not very nice sometimes, and it's uncomfortable to get these thoughts, these unpleasant negative thoughts, and they're painful. They're painful to us. Whatever we're thinking that is negative or unpleasant is very painful. So this poem is very opposite for that. It's giving us some good advice. So I'll just read a bit of it again. When these thoughts come up, Rumi's saying, welcome and entertain them all. Meet them at the door laughing, he says, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house free of its furniture. Treat each guest honourably. So that's what we're trying to do in this meditation, in the mindfulness of breathing. We're trying to we're trying to treat each thought with respect and kindness and generosity. We're not trying to think, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that. I mean, we will know that. We'll know that anyway, but we're not trying to criticize each thought, because that's just another thought. What we're trying to do is notice that these thoughts arise, understanding that they're from our past life, that they've been caused by the events in our past life and our culture that we've grown up in. And just have a sense of kindness towards them, because they can't help arising. But we can actually see them and not get caught up in them and let them go. We don't have to follow our thoughts. We are not our minds. We are separate from our chattering minds. We are something else. So we can notice these thoughts and we can have a sense of welcome and kindness to them, but then let them go. So that's what we're going to do in this meditation. And if you think you are your thoughts, then just consider that if you were, you could control them. And we can't control our thoughts, can we? So they can't be us. They can't be who we are. They are just habits. They are just they're just the way the mind operates and the way our minds have been trained to operate through our complete past life. So what we're trying to do now is to see those thoughts and not to get caught up in them. And if we do that, we will change them. They will slow down and eventually they will almost stop. They just need seeing and accepting. And that's all this practice is. So if you like to get ready, we're going to do the mindfulness of breathing, the mindfulness of welcoming thoughts as they arise. So you can do this lying down on the bed, sitting on a chair, lying on the floor, however you like. Just be comfortable. And we begin, as always, by just settling into the meditative state. It's no big mystery. We're just relaxing. Just trying to come into the present moment. Just trying to relax the mind, relax the body. And noticing what we're sitting on or lying on, the contact with it, how that feels. And allowing what we're sitting or lying on to hold our weight, to just take the weight of our body. We don't have to do anything. We can just let our body be held by the chair or the bed or the floor or whatever. And just have as much a sense of your being as you can. Here this Thursday morning, in whatever condition you're in, whether you're feeling okay and good or whether you're feeling not so good, whether you're in a pleasant place or an unpleasant place. Just starting there with love and acceptance. And bringing your awareness now to the shoulders. You notice the rising and falling with each in-breath and out-breath. So each time we breathe out and the shoulders drop, just allowing any tension or tightness to drop away through the body. Into the ground. And doing it again on the next out-breath, relaxing again on the next. Just having this sense of letting go of any cares, responsibilities, any need to do anything at all. This is the mindfulness of breathing, and in the first stage we're just going to follow each out breath as it comes, not trying to force anything, just breathing normally and following each out breath from the beginning right to the end, and then at the end of each out breath just placing the number 1, and on the next out breath the number 2, and so on up to 10. And when we get distracted by a thought, we'll lose the counting, and that's absolutely okay. So we just come back to the out breath and start again from 1. And when we get to 10, if we ever get to 10, we come back to 1 again. So it's very simple, and it's not a challenge of any kind. It doesn't matter. We can't do this well or badly. It's just a way of helping us to concentrate, following each out breath the whole way and then counting at the end of it. Not worrying if you get distracted, just welcoming each thought with kindness and then letting it go. And just relaxing with the process. Thoughts will keep arising, and that's okay. We just welcome them with a sense of positivity and kindness, and we let them go. And in stage 2, we're going to do the same thing, but only at the beginning of each in-breath. So before we do that, just relaxing a little bit, making sure that you're comfortable. And then when you're ready, just following the whole of each in-breath and placing a number right at the beginning each time, with first 1 and then 2 and so on up to 10, and then beginning again, or beginning again when you get distracted, in just the same way. So following the whole of the in-breath now. And if you've got lots of thoughts arising, if you've got a very busy mind, and you're getting a bit frustrated with that, just be kind to the frustration. Just be kind to the sense of irritation or frustration. That's just something, that's another guest arriving. Whatever's happening, have a sense of acceptance and kindness to it. We're going to drop the counting altogether now. And in stage 3, move up to the breath in the body. Just following the movement of the breath in the body. Beginning at least with the upper body, the chest, rising and falling as we breathe in and breathe out. Just really tuning into that movement. And to the sensations of the breath itself coming into the lungs and leaving the lungs, just noticing what the feeling of that is. And just noticing how the in-breath seems to lift you up, give you energy. And each out-breath lets you go, lets go. And if you can notice the rhythm of the breath, this coming and going, this sense of rising and falling. And if you broaden out your awareness, you can actually feel this, or maybe you can feel this in the arms and the legs and the head. It's quite subtle, so if you can't, that's okay. And just staying open to noticing the breath in the whole of the body. It's almost as if the whole of your being is expanding and contracting. Sensations expanding and contracting. And in the fourth and final stage, we're going to just move our awareness up to the point where we take the breath into the body, the nostrils or the upper lip, and just noticing the delicate sensations of the breath passing past these points as it comes into the body and leaves the body. So it is very subtle, so you may not notice much at first, but just being open to what you can feel. And just really focusing on the point where you're breathing in and breathing out. Not trying to think about it, trying not to think about it, in fact. But what's it feel like? You might notice whether it takes any effort to breathe like this. Just noticing that the breath comes and goes all on its own. Just really homing in on the point where the breath comes into the body. Just feeling whatever sensations you can feel. And for the last few moments of this meditation, just dropping all effort, just sitting with your experience, just observing whatever arises in that experience, not judging, not pushing away, not chasing after. And I hope that was a good start for the day for you. If you did have a busy mind, excuse me, if you did have a busy mind, it's perfectly all right. There is no such thing, they say, as a bad meditation. Sometimes the mind is very busy and it seems almost impossible to settle. Sometimes the mind is in a different space. And what we're trying to do is just change our minds, make them softer and more supple by just accepting what they're doing and what they're thinking. And if we do that, we will make progress. So don't get disheartened if some days there is a lot going on in your minds, and do be joyful if there isn't. But be joyful